Welcome in. Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. It is mailbag time, and you guys got some interesting trade ideas. I already kind of took a sneak peek into the mailbag this week. I heard you guys asking me about Cooper Kupp, Jordan Davis, a few others. We will examine those possibilities and answer the rest of your mailbag questions coming up on today's show. Let's get started with Adam Baum with a $10 super chat. He says, don't sleep on my boy, Kyle McCord, for quarterback. Adam, this guy's just obsessed with Kyle McCord. Adam, I'll tell you this when it comes to Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord had a very good year at Syracuse, but he wasn't good enough for the Ohio State. So much so they turned to Will Howard to be their starting quarterback. I'll tell you this much. I know Ohio State's been a great program. Obviously, they won the national championship this year and all. But if you're not good enough for Ohio State, why should I believe you're good enough for the Seattle Seahawks? I'm not using a first-round pick on McCord. I can tell you that much. Maybe we can have a conversation about drafting him later on, but I have some hesitations with Kyle McCord. Thank you, Adam Baum. Big Daddy, whoa. All right. All right. Righty then. With a $5 super chat says, should the Seahawks trade up in the second to draft Milroe and have him sit behind Geno for a year? No, I'm not trading up for Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe had plenty of chances at Alabama. Look, I watch more college football than anyone I know. I have seen plenty of Jalen Milroe over the last few seasons. And this was a guy that is an incredible athlete. No one's questioning that. He is a very good runner. He's got speed. He's got power. But he looks more like a running back than he does a quarterback. And he has struggled with accuracy. And he's had plenty of opportunities to succeed. Those Alabama teams were talented the last 2 years. And he missed out on getting to the national championship his first year, lost his job, got it back. And then his second year, that team didn't even make the playoffs. So with that said, he's been under two different coaching staffs now. I'm a little out on Jalen Milroe. I've said for a long time the jury's out on Jalen Milroe. The jury is still out on Jalen Milroe. Seahawks Today is bringing you up-to-the-minute coverage. Maybe you're watching this and you're saying, man, I would love to be a part of a mailbag segment. Well, you're in luck. If you subscribe now and turn on notifications, you'll be the first to know when we go live and bring you these mailbag segments we do each and every Wednesday. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. And join what we call the Noti Gang here on Seahawks Today. Spam Noti Gang if you're part of that Noti Gang, and we'll continue here on today's show. Smitty's Burner writes in, should the Seahawks consider trading for Cooper Kupp? Well, Smitty's Burner, let me tell you this. Cooper Kupp, fantastic talent. Former Super Bowl MVP, had an incredible season. What was that now? 3 or 4 years ago when he was able to get the Triple Crown, leading the NFL in receptions and yards and touchdowns. He had a historic season. But since then, Cooper Kupp has struggled to stay healthy. 2022, his numbers were about half of what they were. 2023, he played in more games than he did in 2022, and his numbers were worse. You're starting to see a trend. Last year, same amount of games played. Numbers down when it came to yardage and yards per reception as well. Cooper Kupp, I'll say this. I like Cooper Kupp. I've been a fan of Cooper Kupp, even as the Seahawks guy here for a while. But it doesn't get any better as you get older when it comes to these injuries. And I'm just not sold. And I think a trade, you'd be giving up capital, which would then, in turn, help out the Rams. I'm not trying to help out the Rams in the process either. I think it's a no for me on trading for Cooper Kupp. Although, however, there is a Rams player I do like that's available in free agency. Keep an eye on Tutu Atwell. When you talk about replacing Tyler Lockett, that's a name to keep an eye on potentially. I'm not trading for Cooper Kupp, but I would keep tabs on Tutu potentially. Should the Seahawks trade for Cooper Kupp? Why for yes, in for no? Weigh in and let us know. Today's show is sponsored by Gametime. Gametime is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sport events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Gametime has got you covered. Gametime is a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The big game is almost here. Maybe you want to make some memories like I did with my dad, taking him to an NFL playoff game, and head on down to NOLA for the big game. Maybe it's an event within Seattle. You want to go see the Kraken. Maybe it's UW. Whatever it may be. They got tickets for sporting events, concerts, theater productions, and everything in between. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that is one you do not want to pass up on. They have their customize your spot feature. They also have the seat views and get the visual see what your seat is like. Choose the event you want to go to. Price is listed. Choose your seat, and then boom, just like that, you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. With Gametime, the lowest price is guaranteed, or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time, and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPRTS for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Man of 12s writes in, could you see the Seahawks making a trade for Jordan Davis? I promise you, I'm not saying no to everything. All right? But Jordan Davis, I know he's going to be, playing for the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles, chance to go compete for a Super Bowl and all that. But with all that talent there in Philadelphia, I haven't seen a ton from Jordan Davis this year. Just 1 sack, 3 TFLs. I think Seattle does need to address the defensive line. Jarran Reed is about to head to free agency, as is Jonathan Hankins. I'd like to bring back Jarran Reed. I'd probably say no to Jonathan Hankins. I think you got 2 stalwarts for a long time when it comes to Byron Murphy as well as Leonard Williams. Jordan Davis, I don't think, is necessarily the answer you're looking for. You're headed in the right track there with getting defensive line help, but I don't necessarily think Jordan Davis is the solution you're looking for. Should the Seahawks trade for Jordan Davis? What do you think? Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in. Let us know if you would bring him to Seattle or not. The Don writes in, if the Chiefs don't re-sign Nick Bolton, we should sign him. So, Nick Bolton, I got to tell you, fantastic football player. One of the big emphasis for him this year came down to creating more turnovers. That was something that he didn't really do a whole lot of early in his career, but he did everything else. He focused on it, zeroed in on it, and he saw results. Had an interception this year, had 2 fumble recoveries, had a forced fumble, did a really good job. With that said, you're not going to pay Ernest Jones and Nick Bolton. And I think your first priority is to keep Ernest Jones around. If for whatever reason you can't bring back Ernest Jones, then maybe Nick Bolton is a potential option there. But I would say it's unlikely you have both of them. I think that could be a backup plan potentially for Seattle. Although, who knows? He might end up costing more than Ernest Jones does potentially in the free agent market. Not Lover says, I don't know anything about the new OC hire. Tell me about him. And does he like to run or pass more? Well, you've come to the right person for this. Not Lover. Clint Kubiak. The thing I like the most is he's very effective in the red zone. Saints were a terrible team this past year. They were ranked 11th in red zone scoring offense compared to Seattle, who was 14th with a much better team. And Geno, of course, had the league-leading 5 interceptions in the red zone this past season. So with those things in mind there, I think your red zone difference is going to be substantial. On top of that, it is a more pro-style offense that Clint Kubiak is going to run. You're going to see Geno under center more than what we saw previously with Ryan Grubb's air raid spread offense scheme that he ran in the past. So I think they're going to run the football more. They're going to try to be more physical. I think that you're going to like what you see from Clint Kubiak. I think there's reason to be optimistic. And although this year wasn't great in New Orleans, I think a lot of that was out of his control. And the other thing I would say, go look back at his season when he was OC in Minnesota. That offense was very prolific. And they had a good balance between their run and pass game. with Cousins and Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson and company. So, yes, they're going to run the football more. Going to be more of a traditional offense, more Geno under center. They're going to try to be more physical at the line of scrimmage and do that thing, and I think Clint Kubiak is going to be a good choice there. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today for the latest happenings in your favorite team all offseason long. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.